Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Cheers to Friday. Give everybody a minute to hop on. So today I am super excited to be going live with someone that I've always really enjoyed chatting with. It's been a little while since we have gotten to catch up. And so this is one of those true Pink Sheep Friends chat lives because I'm just super excited to catch up with Ginger and see what she's been up to. If you guys do not know Ginger from Yarn Geek here on Instagram as well as over on YouTube, I'm going to give her a chance to also kind of introduce herself and let you guys know a little bit about her and what she does here in the crochet community. But we've always had great chats, and I think she's here. So let's see if I can request for her to join. Let's see if I can. All right, so I've invited her to hop on. There she is. That was like immediate. Oh, I think there you are. I said that was a great view, but it's not your face.
It was showing my plants.
Yes.
I love my plants are my friends too.
Well, and they're alive. I can't do that, so I'm jealous.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. My Monstera leaf is huge. I don't know if you can.
I've heard of those. Oh my gosh, and it's so pretty.
It's way bigger than my head. It's just huge.
Wow. It gets a lot of light there, though. That looks like it's a really happy place for plants.
Yeah, it's a very, very happy place.
Well, how are you?
I am doing good. I have been, of course, crocheting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot. And yeah, that's just pretty much my world. I've been still doing my YouTube channel and haven't been keeping up on Instagram as much lately. I've been doing I've been making this blanket for the On Tour with Hobie challenge. And they're super nice. They sent me a bunch of yarn. And so I have been totally obsessed with this blanket. And, you do stage 1 project and it's in Denmark. And I'll show you that in just a little bit. But I've finished 4 stages and I'm going on. I finished 4 and I'm going on to the 5th. Yeah. And each stage has a theme.
Yep.
For the Tour de France.
Yeah. So I got invited to that challenge. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way that I could. And then I would feel bad, so I ended up not doing it. But that was why, because I was like, oh my gosh, whoever does this, more power to you, because that's taken on a lot. But what yarn did you try?
I tried the feather. Let's see, I've got it right here. I love this yarn. It's the kind feather.
Okay, and I haven't used it. It's obviously way smaller than what I usually use.
Right. It's a 3 weight. So, about an 1/8 of the size you usually use.
What size are you using?
It's a low pilling acrylic yarn. And I've been so obsessed with the crocheting of this that I haven't been able to keep up on my posting of it. But I plan on keeping up. This is a true to form Yarn Geek project.
Yeah.
But I might as well just go ahead and show you.
Yes, I want to see. And I saw some pictures. You're doing like a mosaic.
Yeah, I'm doing a mosaic. And each mosaic is from a different designer that I got, because I can't design mosaic stuff, and I just kind of decided in the middle of it. It was like, oh, I think I'll do mosaic, like we do. We get excited about something. So I've got the strawberry fields right here in Denmark.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And unlike other mosaic blankets, I'm not crocheting it all together at once. Because they want you to do it kind of separate. So I'm doing separate panels.
Okay.
The second one is cool. Thank you. The second one is the French Riviera. So some waves.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of like Greek. I don't know why that spoke
Yeah,
Greek to me.
yeah, it's all Greek to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's what people have told me, that it looks kind of Greek.
yeah,
But
that's really cool though. Yeah.
it's and this one was more of a just like a graph that I found on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that. This one right here, oh gosh, I can't remember all the names. I'll be posting, like I do have an Instagram post that has this one in it, and
Yes, I saw that one.
yeah, I have the designer on that. The next one is kind of inspired by French desserts. And of course, when I think French dessert, I think coffee.
Yeah.
And they sent me all the colors to use. So I kind of have to work within their Tour de France colors.
Yes.
So coffee.
Oh, I love that.
Coffee and cake. There were a lot of key lime macaroons or macarons when I went to look in the in the Pinterest.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't find any macarons that were totally just saying make me, but I did see cake. But I like the coffee the best.
It's obviously coffee and cake. So like that's the goal, right?
Obviously. Oh, hi, Erica. I just saw Erica jump in, Lopsided Crafter. This is my favorite. And the reason this is my favorite is because my black kitty cat, Rick, ran away one night and he didn't come back.
Oh.
So this is supposed to be inspired by kind of like lazy days, taking a break, relaxing. So.
Oh, I love it.
And there's an empty space a little bit on the end there for Rick.
Oh.
So yeah, this is the Cat Noir by Pixel Designs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you how long have you been working on that now?
2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, you really have, like, that's all you're doing then.
I'm obsessed. Yes, I have, and also in those 2 weeks to take a break, I have made 5 crossbody bags.
Okay. Which is crazy that you've also been making other things.
Yeah. Well, see, I needed a break from looking at, I needed a mindless thing to do. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Crossbody bag.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And someone did say, Lori Armstrong said, separate panels is the way to do blankets in the summertime.
Exactly. Hi, Lori.
That makes sense, having not having to have that over your lap.
Right.
And if anyone has questions, by the way, just because I usually don't really keep up with the chat in these, since it's, going. But if you have a question specifically, please do pop it in the actual question box. There's a little, speech bubble with a little question mark in it down there. And you can actually pop your questions in there, so that way we won't miss them. Emma says that she has that Cat Noir pattern and has not tried it yet.
I love it.
And
so much fun.
Petals of Gratitude says, looks like a fun challenge. You're doing great, Ginger. And your fingers must fly. I feel like I have gotten so much slower than I used to be. Like, I feel like I could crochet a lot faster when I first started, and I have slowed down a lot. I feel like I'm going fast, but then I see what some people are doing. I'm like, there is no way that that's where I'd be, especially with smaller yarn.
Well, and especially for some reason, when I see people crocheting the pencil with a pencil grip, it just mesmerizes me, because I don't crochet pencil grip. And when I see them doing this, I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and I taught myself pencil grip. I can technically do it, and I taught myself that to, like, give myself a break, because it changes up the muscle you
Right.
know, of what you're doing. So if my hands get tired, then I can
Hmm.
change my grip and I might be a little slower, but I can keep going.
Hmm.
Which is what we're not supposed to do to our bodies, right? Like,
Right.
um, but I can only do it with certain yarn, certain hook sizes. You know, it's very specific.
Right.
So what hook size are you using for that yarn right now?
I am using, let me see. It is, let me pull out my handy dandy furls.
Mm-hmm.
It is a G. So
And what do you know what millimeter that is?
that is 4.5.
Okay. That's not
Yeah.
too far off. I have one furls. Well, I have more than one furls. I have one furls Odyssey, and it's a 5.5, and
Hmm.
that's what I use for all of my crop tops. So if that hook breaks, I would have to go buy another one because we only make the 10 and up, and
Right,
so
right.
for my crop tops, I've got, and we have talked. We're like, at some point we might try to make some handles, so it's like
Hmm.
our hook, signature hook body, and we can put like a metal hook in there. But for
That would be,
now, it's furls, and I've loved that one for
hmm.
I was worried about buying the smaller ones, even from furls and the resin or the wood. I feel
Hmm.
like when you're doing something that tight, like a crop top, then I didn't want to snap a hook, so I was like, I should
Yeah.
probably go with the metal.
Yeah, they are my favorite of all the furls hooks. I like
Hmm.
these. And then after that, I like the resin hooks.
Yeah,
But especially when you start going down smaller, even
yeah,
smaller than this, I like having a big, thick hook to grab
yeah,
onto, just
yeah.
because I can't crochet with the little tiny, when the
It's
bodies are,
painful.
it hurts. It
Yeah.
does. And this is like coloring. My hands never hurt. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
The only thing on me that hurts is my knees from like sitting.
Interesting from
I
sitting. Yeah.
Yeah, from sitting.
I'll
And
get knees and hips sometimes. Knees and hips will bug me a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, my hips haven't started, knock on wood, but
And I think it's really the
oh
chair, like depending on the chair you're sitting in and how you're situated. Like I think that just
yeah,
bothers me sometimes. Who
yeah.
is this? Oh, so Seska says the metal streamline furls are amazing, same shape and size. So, but they're out. Like I really wanted to try the aluminum, those metal aluminum hooks that they came out
Mhm.
with, but I don't know if they're going to come back out or what the goal is because they're all gone.
I know. I wanted to get one of those, and by the time I could, they were out, and I was so sad. But I
Yeah.
did hear they're going to come out with different colors of metal hooks.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
yeah, like
I
different kinds
figured,
of metals.
and I figured that the aluminum would maintain. I figured that would just be one of their, like they've got Candy Shop, Odyssey, wood, resin.
Right.
Like I thought aluminum was going to be one of those. So I'm interested to see if they do that, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people would like that because that's the biggest gripe with the Odyssey is a lot of people don't like the weight. And
Hmm.
so the aluminum, like that fixed all the problems. You've still got the metal. You don't have the weak point, where it tends to
Right.
snap. I haven't had one snap, but that's usually what I see is that weak point with the handle and the metal. And I was like, that solved all their problems. So I don't know if they just didn't know if it would sell well, so now it's like, okay, they sold out. So now we have to figure out if we're going to do this regularly. But I would get one. I would get probably some of um, the smaller hooks, or, maybe like in the 6, 7 range or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, Someone did say they're coming out with
Oh,
more aluminum hooks in other colors. So that'll be really interesting to see
yay.
that. They need a pink one. I get a pink aluminum hook.
But, well, they'll have copper or I or rose gold, something like that. I
Hmm.
know that's kind of pink. I notice you
Yep.
have a lot of pink yarn in your background.
Yes, and I'll have to show you. Let me show you, and let me know if you've got some new yarn you want to show off too. And someone did just
Okay.
ask, so while I grab some yarn, someone, and who was it? Let me make sure I shout them out. So Bonkers 150
Hi,
says,
Denise.
are you glad you have a yarn stash with prices going up?
Yes, yes, because Janine, listen, you know me, and I am stocking up for the yarn zombie apocalypse.
Mhm.
If it comes, we've got the yarn, us yarn hoarders. We will, we will never. Oh, they mentioned rose gold as possibility. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. That makes sense with it uh
be-
being that way. So let's see.
right. So I'm going to be doing good in the zombie apocalypse because I know how to make everything, including overalls. Because
And I'm about to do a testing call for the dress. So I made an overalls dress. Have you
ooh,
seen it?
I have not seen it. I'm sure I have, and I've just forgotten. Oh my gosh, that is so
And the,
cute.
straps come over
Yeah,
the front, just like the overalls. I mean, it's structured just like the overalls, but
it's a skirt.
um, and I had to ask because I asked people, do you feel like it's too close? Like, could people just, you know, alter my overalls pattern? But a lot of
Mhm.
people, again, my focus is beginners, and there are going to be a lot of
Right,
beginners that don't want to try and alter something. They
right.
won't feel confident enough to alter something yet. So this is
Yeah.
actually, it's different from the overalls too, because this is actually all single crochet. So
Hmm.
my overalls were the half double.
Hmm.
And this yarn is definitely thicker. So the pattern is written, it's still considered, well, yarn sizes are all screwy. Like I said,
Yeah.
I always compare it to like women's jean sizes because they're going to
Yeah.
tell you it's a 6, but it's not. So this one says that it's a size 7, but it's actually smaller than, so I made two. This is the first one that I made using t-shirt yarn, which is considered a size 6.
Yeah. So cute.
And this is considered a size 7, but I would call it a 6 because it actually worked up a little smaller than the t-shirt
Mhm.
yarn, which is a 6. So I'm writing it up as for a size 6 yarn, but obviously you'd want like a full size 6 yarn. You wouldn't want to go with something like Kieran Chunky Cakes that says it's a 6, but it's actually more like a 5.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
really
because
really chunky yarn.
and
Um,
then that just builds the person up for disappointment that is making the pattern because it's like, well, I use a size 6 yarn and it turned out, so much smaller. So that's why it's important to check gauge.
Yes, and that's also why I try to do recommended yarn
Yeah.
page in my pattern just to be like,
Mhm.
here's why, I'm suggesting these. Um, and even with that, it's, I'm this one I'm trying to do made to measure. I don't think it's going to be fully made to measure because a lot of the made to measure patterns, it's like you could actually use any yarn and gauge, but then you have
Mhm.
to use your gauge to do the math, to do the stitches. And I was like, oh, I just feel like that's getting a little too. So I still want people to match my
Right.
gauge, but then it'll be made to measure from there because, that way they can figure out how many increases to make sure that the skirt fits and that kind of thing.
Sure.
Um, so we'll see. But this is what I used for it. So this is the
Ooh, Premier Home
Premier.
Cotton. I've never tried that before. And is that 100% cotton?
This one is actually cotton polyester, but it's
Okay.
85% cotton.
Okay.
Um, and the t-shirt yarn I used is very similar. So it's a cotton mix with
Okay.
mostly cotton, but a little bit of stretch to it. Michael's. So I think I'm going to go to Michael's today. I haven't gone in a minute, but I know they've got a lot of stuff on clearance. So I really want to go. Um, and an idea that I had too is I want to go into Michael's and I want to take some photos or some videos of yarn at Michael's that would work for my patterns
Oh,
because
that's a
that's the
great
biggest
idea.
question that I usually get.
Yeah.
Michael's has some of this. It's not Premier, it's their
Okay.
macrame cotton, but it's the same stuff. If you look at it, it's the
Oh,
same because it's like a chain
yeah.
structure. And
Oh,
Michael's has it on sale. So I'm gonna go check out and see if they have some different colors. Um, but yeah, that's what I've been using the most. And the only other thing that I'm really working on right now that I haven't talked about on Instagram. at all.
Uh-huh.
But do you watch Stranger Things?
I do.
Okay,
I
so
love that show.
then you'll really appreciate it. So I had an idea in my head. I wanted to do something for Stranger Things, and I don't do amigurumi or anything like that. So
Mhm.
it needed to be a wearable. So I'm like
Right.
scoping out what everybody's wearing, like what can I do? Because they had some funky style in the newest one. So I
Mhm.
thought I might find something colorful,
It was
and I found what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to buy the yarn. So I was like, let me talk to some yarn companies and see if
mhm.
anyone wants to sponsor the yarn for the design.
Right.
And I ended up working with Universal Yarn. I've never
Mhm.
worked with them before. And I guess Premier carries some of their yarn, but they focus on local yarn shops. They didn't actually have a consumer website until I guess this year.
Mhm.
So they're just now
I didn't
starting
know that.
to huh?
Oh, I didn't know that, but
Yeah, yeah.
I love their
So
yarns.
this is what I'm going to use, or this is what I'm using.
Oh, that looks nice.
And it is a 5. So for
Mhm.
anyone who loved the Dobby, which I know you made a Dobby, this is going to be similar to the Dobby. It's a 10 millimeter hook with a
Mhm.
5 weight. So it's,
Okay.
a little bit, it's not quite as bulky for people who like the less bulky options.
Mhm.
And I'll show you, I'm not completely done, but the only thing I have left is the ribbing on the last sleeve. So it's pretty
Okay.
much finished. Okay. Get this thing on.
Oh, that is cute.
All right, let's see. There we go.
That is so
So
cute.
that is the Max jacket.
Love it.
Yeah. So that
Oh
is
my
what we're
gosh, that's
looking at.
perfect.
It's got and this is my first tapered sleeve in a
Yeah,
pattern ever, but it needed that, athletic jacket
right.
look. I am gonna get a zipper.
Uh-huh.
So it is a zippered, and it's gonna have the hoodie
Pocket.
pockets. But I did the yellow here so that if
Mhm.
someone did not want to do a zipper, they still have that feel of the
Right.
yellow. The zipper was yellow in the jacket. And so I
Yeah.
was like, well, someone could just make it without a zipper and they'll still have the effect,
Hmm.
of that color. So, but that's the other thing I've been working on. And I haven't shared it because I'm trying to do like a reel with the Stranger Things music that ends in me wearing it.
That's
So,
so cool.
so
Yeah,
that's been fun.
I clearly am gonna need to make that one.
I'm excited about it. And I think I can't remember if I think for the testers, if anyone wants to test it, wink wink, I think they're going to give me a code for the yarn. So I think they'll give a tester code to get a little bit of a discount. So, I'll reach out once it's ready in case you
Okay,
want to take the challenge on because you've got a lot of stuff happening right now.
awesome.
Let's see.
Ashley,
To make sure I didn't miss anything. Tracy says, I'll test it. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely need quite. I mean, it's just like a normal test. I'll need a couple people
hmm
for each size, so it should be fun. And I don't think I'm going to require people to make the color. Like, I think it would be nice if a few people did.
hmm
But people could play around with the color scheme. I've got the color work for the stripes, but you could do your own, your own color combination. So I think that might actually be fun for the release to show some different color options.
This is actually a sweater I think my boys might wear if I
Yeah.
make it for them because they love Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I
Love it.
think so. I don't know if you've been getting hit with so I get hit with a ton of Facebook ads for Stranger Things stuff because I've
Oh yeah,
been, talking about
right.
it. And Quicksilver, I guess, is the brand that is selling items that people were wearing in the show. So, like, they're making their own
Oh,
version. And this
okay.
jacket was in that lineup. So they had like a track
Ooh.
jacket but it sold out. And, but it was a men's jacket. So that's why I was like, I really do think the way that this one is fitted, being a little more oversized, having the tapered sleeve, that I think it would work well as a men's
Right.
option, you know,
Yeah.
instead of just being more of a female
Yeah.
option.
They've got,
So,
one thing I've been looking for, and if you could ever design a pattern like this, it would be awesome. The Kurt Cobain sweater. You
and
know,
I'll have to look it up because
it's
send me a
it's
picture.
it's the grunge.
Yeah, yeah. But it would, I mean, I know that I need to design a few more patterns with just straight bulky weight, because that is like the one thing a lot of people are like, well, you know, I don't want to add bulk to myself, you know, because some
Mhm.
people don't like to have like the super, super chunky stuff. Um, but
Like,
I think 5 is like the smallest I can go because I can still use my 10 millimeter
right.
hook for the 5.
Right. Oh, and I've noticed like when I'm a very top heavy person. I'm like shaped like
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
and I made your Dobie sweater and I made it bigger. I
Yes.
made the large, and
Hmm.
when it has the loose fit, I don't
Yeah.
feel the bulk at all.
Yeah.
And
The
and
doggy is one of my favorites. It's
yeah.
become one of my favorites now that I made this one, which is the one I
Uh-huh.
made for my crochet along.
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite because it's so much lighter. I used the Kieran chunky cakes for it
Hmm.
instead of the 2 strands of worsted.
Hmm.
And it's so much lighter. And, you know, I made the sleeves a little shorter. They don't get in my way. And I can just wear it around the house. So it's
Yeah.
become one of my favorites in like the spring and summer to wear in the house.
Yeah. Mine would be my favorite, but I've got it packed away with all of my whips. No, not my whips, my FOs.
Yeah.
And which I'm rearranging. That's another thing I'm going to be working on. I'm rearranging because my oldest son just graduated from high school and he got an apartment with one of his friends. And
Okay.
so we have an extra bedroom now. And
Ooh.
yeah, Willie moved upstairs to Anthony's room. And so we've got these two rooms downstairs. One is already my yarn room,
Mm-hmm.
but the other one is going to be too. Although what has your yarn stash grown over the last few years, or are you able to keep it down?
So now that I'm not selling finished product, it's been easier to say no because I know that I don't have as much space. And I also know that the things that I make are not leaving my house.
Yeah.
So as my finished projects, because that's my problem right now, is it's all of let's see if I can put this down. So I've got the bottom row is the milk crates because they fit
Uh-huh.
in the shelf.
Well,
All of
that's
that is
nice.
finished. All of those are finished products. I've got
Mhm.
finished objects sitting over here. I've got finished ones in the closet. I've got finished ones in the guest room on shelves. And
Mhm.
so if I could ever figure out the right way to try to do like sample sales. So if people wanted to buy my finished objects, even if I don't sell them for what I would think that
Right.
they should go for, just to have them not be in my house anymore.
Yeah.
Because I
I
have everything I've ever made
right.
since I started designing. I think the only thing I've sold, I had someone very adamant about buying the first Sneaky Buns bucket hat. Because I know you made one of those. They wanted the one that I made out of t-shirt yarn. So I did
Mhm.
sell that one, which was great. And I was like, so there
Yeah.
is at least some kind of desire.
Right.
But I know a lot of the people that follow me crochet and they're going to make my stuff. They don't want to
Yeah.
buy my
Right.
ready stuff. So that's my problem. And that's why I haven't bought as much because I do try to limit myself to like, I have to have a reason for this yarn, even if I don't do anything with it immediately. Like
Hmm.
the first batch of this stuff that I bought, the Premiere, um, I bought it 2 years ago, I think. I mean, it's
Oh,
been,
wow.
and I didn't have a use for it, but I knew it would come in handy because it was a super bulky cotton, which is hard to
Right.
find. So I was like, well, I need to get it. I need to try it. I just don't know what
Yeah.
I'm going to make with it. Um, and so like I've got a bunch of this stuff from
Oh,
Michael's because
uh-huh.
I think I'm going to make a long cardigan, but I had to get a lot. I think I
Oh,
got, uh, yeah, it's like 2 whole bins of it. This
Right.
top one right here and this one right here is all that.
And it's
Yeah.
very light. That would be perfect for, it's not a
Yes.
heavy yarn. It'd be great
Yep.
for a long cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
such pretty colors.
I've started working with, some of the yarn companies, so they're sending me yarn and,
Mhm.
I just have to, because we moved into a smaller house too.
Mhm.
So it was like,
Oh, wow.
I don't have a whole lot of places to kind of like store stuff. And so I'm trying really hard to like have a purpose. But like today, if I go to Michael's, I'm really looking for bright. I have that focus. It needs to be bright colors, not muted earth tones. It needs to be bright.
Mhm.
It needs to be super bulky or jumbo.
Mhm.
And I need to have enough to make a wearable because that's
Right.
usually my focus. So that makes it pretty easy too, because I'll be like, okay, it's bright colored, it's a size 6, but they only have 3 balls of it. So I can't get it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
that's made it easier.
You
Having
have
like the
such,
hyper focus.
you have such great self-control. I'm just like, you know what? I know I'm going to need it sometime. I'm gonna need
So,
it.
and I want to ask you too, let me see, because I think oh yeah, we've still got 30 minutes. So
Okay.
usually these chats are more focused on like you and your maker journey, and I do want to
Mhm.
dive into that a little bit, but I just hadn't gotten to chat with you in a while, so I
Oh,
really
so much
wanted to chat.
fun.
um but I would love to know and let everyone know here, especially if you guys haven't met Ginger, when you started crocheting and what that journey has looked like for you when it comes to like why you crochet things. Like, do you sell them? What do you do with your makes? That kind of thing. But first off, where you learned, how you learned.
I learned from my grandma when I was 10 years old. So
Ah, that's awesome.
42 years ago. I was either 9 or 10. I can't remember the exact age. But my grandma gave me like a size, it was a J 6 millimeter hook and some yarn, and she taught me how to single crochet. And, first make the chain and then single crochet. And so I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then I took it home from grandma's house and showed mom, and we had a sheep farm. So, of course, my mom is just like me. When she starts liking something, she's
Yeah,
like, okay, I'm all over that.
yeah.
So she started crocheting. And then, of course, she started making like blankets out the wazoo. We were always going to Walmart. Walmart was selling that super saver yarn. This
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
early 80s. This was like Stranger Things. This was the time of even just a little bit earlier. Yeah, I had those hairdos.
I loved all of those hairdos.
Oh, like the hairdo that Will has this season. It's like a little bowl cut.
Hmm.
That was what all the guys in my school had, and I was like, why? So I
Hmm.
guess it was a nationwide thing. It was a pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was cool. But yeah, they're and now the mullets are coming back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys,
Mhm.
you kids.
Like, stop
Um,
it.
yeah,
Stop
just right now. You don't know what you're doing.
it.
And all the girls part their hair down the middle.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what that's all about, but
Hmm.
it's apparently it's not cool to part it down the side.
Whatever.
we're mom, and I am not cool because I no longer wear mom jeans, which is what the kids wear. They wear the
Yeah,
mom jeans, so
yeah.
you just can't win. But
No,
so
no.
and if you say, "Hey," I don't remember how to say it. All I know is I tell my boys every time they walk in the house that they're dripping, and they're like, "That's not how you say it, mom." And I forget how you say it, but it's like something about their drip means they're dressed nice, and they're
Okay.
and their
Haven't
and
heard
their
that one.
and their hair's got the flow.
I'm gonna have to hang out on TikTok a little more often so I can learn these new slang
These
terms.
new things, which is so funny because now my oldest two daughters are just a tad bit younger than you. They're
Hmm.
30 and 32.
Hmm.
And they all their cool things were different
Mm-hmm.
than the cool things now because they're
Yeah.
millennials
Yeah.
and the kids now are Z's, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
The grandkids
Do
are
you, do
alphas.
you see a huge difference? I mean, because you have the whole spectrum of the
Yeah.
generation, is what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Which I
my
don't
old,
understand because you do not look old enough. Like, I know I've told you this before, but the fact that you have kids that are that age just blows my mind.
thank you.
I know
I,
I'm not the only one who thinks that though.
I still feel like I'm 26. We were, we were, we were driving in the car the other day. It was me, my daughter Brandy, and my two granddaughters.
Hmm.
And Abby is 10 and Emmy is 1.
Hmm.
And so we were driving in the car and I was looking at a video um, that we were at the stoplight and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And Brandy was sitting in the back seat and she said, Mom, why do you act so much younger than your age? And I was like, I'm not acting. This is me. Don't you want me to
And
be
I
myself?
feel younger than my age.
I don't know how else to be. And
Yeah.
Abby looks back at her and says, Mom, give me a break. You twerk.
Of course she does. That's the age, right? Even then.
That's right, with the boots and the fur.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Oh,
So anyway, that's okay. Crochet. I get off on a tangent.
yeah.
I'm my
It was the heart saver yarn at Walmart. That's what
oh
got me.
awful. Yeah, so scratchy. And if you crochet too tight with it, your crochet hooks would squeak. Because
Mm-hmm.
of that sound. And there was no soft yarn. So
Yeah.
my mom, we started whenever we shared the sheep, she would save back a couple because we had like 300 sheep, give or take.
Wow.
And we had mostly Rambouillet sheep, which is a very they're related, they're closely related to the is it merino?
Mm-hmm.
No, I forget, but very tightly crimped yarn. And
Mm-hmm.
the crimps are very small and it's a very good high quality yarn. And then we had some black sheep and brown sheep that we would mix with the white sheep. Their fleeces are a little less dense,
Mm-hmm.
but they would make beautiful colors. And we would keep some back and wash it, but most of it we would have, sell. But
Yeah.
then Mom would have a bunch of the fleeces washed and sent back to us. And then she would do the whole carding, where
Yeah.
you do, basically it's
Mm-hmm.
brushing the fibers out. And I like the hand carders better, but there's a
Yeah.
machine that you could card the wool on too. And then you take them into the little, the fat pieces that are light and
Mm-hmm.
fluffy, and you feed them in the spinning and spin them. So anyway, that yarn was so much softer than the
Yeah.
Super Saver.
But to
And
get a lot of yardage, like I'm
oh,
sure, I can't imagine the time it would take just to make a blanket out of
oh,
hand spun yarn.
yeah. Well, it depends. Like any other yarn, it just depends on how thick
Mm-hmm.
you spin the yarn. But from going from sheep all the way to
Yeah.
the yarn, that's a
And you
that's a
saw that
process.
at what, I mean, you saw that so young,
Oh yeah.
right? Like that's amazing.
Yeah, so I've always grown up knowing, that if push came to shove, there something bad came down. I couldn't go to the store and buy yarn.
Yeah.
I could just make some yarn out of something.
So I do have to ask because I feel like my generation, I grew up with YouTube, you know, and
Right.
not really in high school. Like high school, we had encyclopedias at the house, and I remember in high school using
Yeah.
encyclopedias to write, essays and things. So I
Mhm.
had that, but by the time I hit college, YouTube really had was getting started, and so
Right.
by the time I was in grad school and was trying to pick back up on crochet and knitting, I had plenty of videos and things that I could watch. So,
Mhm.
how did your mom know how to do that process? Was that something she already learned, or how did she learn how to do all of that?
Just we taught ourselves. I mean,
Really?
all the other stitches, yeah, we just wanted to learn everything. And I don't know if you know about my mom uh, as much, but she doesn't have a YouTube channel or anything, but she has more yarn than I do. And
I think I've heard you say that.
yeah, she had a perennial flower farm, and for 20 years she sold at the farmers market, and anything she does in a big way.
Yeah.
So me and my mom did crochet in a big way when I was a kid, and she would buy patterns, I would go with her. We would pick out patterns at Walmart. Walmart in the Ozark Mountains in Arkansas was the big store, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we would get patterns and basically learn stitches from the patterns or check out library books. That was another big place. I would check out as many library books as I could at a time of crochet and knitting.
Well, and I meant really more on the fiber side. So like making your own yarn. I mean, was that something that that you guys learned in books, or because that's a process?
Oh yeah, she learned from books. She had a friend in the neighboring town that did some spinning, so she learned some from her and just kind of piece it together and make and practice. But yeah, mostly books.
Yeah.
Especially when we lived in Arkansas and only got 3 TV channels. No cable. It was like, yay, we're going to the library. It was like the trip of the month.
I don't know why, but I'm getting such Matilda vibes. Did you watch the movie Matilda when like she would go to the library and check out all of the books, start them home in her wagon?
Yeah, that's exactly. In fact, when I was pregnant with Amanda, my first baby, this was in 1990, there's no YouTube. So the only way I learned about pregnancy was library books.
Yeah.
So I would check out all those library books. And it was kind of cool.
No, I was just saying, I'm just glad that libraries haven't like gone away. I think that's, at the point where we are. And I feel like unless you're in school, people don't really turn to books to learn all that much now. I mean, it really is video and screen time that's the learning atmosphere.
Yeah. But there's something super special about holding a book and being able
smelling it. There's a smell.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy. I don't know if you can see, but my husband and I went to the library book sale this weekend. They have one about once every 3 months. And the big one is in the summertime. And we got that whole stack of books right there for $26 at the library book sale. And I got a bunch of knitting books, and I'm super there, some different things that I haven't ever tried to knit before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm super excited. In fact,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when I get things off of YouTube videos, or on Google or whatever, I would rather be able to look at it and read it rather than following along with a tutorial.
Yeah, I'm not a huge video learning person.
No,
I would much rather find it with photos and text if I can. So that's a segue, I think, when talking about new things with knitting. So when you started out, knitting and crocheting, and even now, do you do most of it for like gifts and for yourself, or do you go to shows? Do you sell items? What does that look like for you?
I haven't sold. I did do some shows in the 90s. In the late 90s, I sold some, and I did pretty well. But I think I've got such a I'm easily distracted. So it's hard for me to actually sit with a project and put everything together and do that. So most of the things I make, I give to my family. Like everybody, all of my relatives has 3 blankets apiece. Finally, my oldest daughter was like, Mom, I don't need another blanket.
Oh, but you're gonna get one, sweetie.
You're gonna get one. And and so yeah, baby blankets now too are those are super fun because it's kind of like working on one of your patterns. It's like you get to make it and it goes so much faster than if you're just crocheting with 3-way yarn.
Yeah.
And so you have it like in a day and a half. And it's just like, oh, this is
Yeah.
great.
I'm gonna make another one now. Yeah.
Yay! I'm so excited. So anyway, blankets go to, or I have, this is another one. My family will text me and say, you know that blanket you just posted on Instagram? Yeah, I want that one.
Nice. Well, and because the reason I ask is because you said, you're making the Tour de France blanket.
Yeah.
But you just made 5 crossbodies. What are you going to do with 5 crossbodies?
I don't know. I make them and then I don't know what I'm going to do with them later. But I'm going to use. I'll use one. I'll see if my girls want one. Oh, my daughter has given me a list of things she wants me to make, and she wants me to make a sweatshirt that says Dog Pound on it. Because she works at a gym called Dog Pound in LA.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so she's like, Mom, design this, and I'm sure all of my friends will want one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I don't give away, I keep, and I know that maybe somebody else will want it at some time.
Yeah.
But like also in the wintertime, what I do is I make scarves and hats. And you have the certain places that you go into, like the Quick Trips or, just like who are the people in your neighborhood, like you see every day. And I'll just, take a bag of hats and just give them away. Yeah.
I love it. And that's really that's being really present in your community. I think that's, that's really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I used to, before I went full time with my YouTube channel and everything, I worked at my 2 high schools here in town as a job coach. And so the kids at the schools, all the time would come to school without a hat or in the wintertime. And in Kansas, it's pretty cold in the wintertime. Yeah. So I'd be like, okay, what do you need? Scarf, hat. So there are a lot of.
Did you just move too? I feel like you just moved.
Yeah, we did last summer, and it was just across town, and we kind of.
That's what I was wondering.
The house is actually it's a townhouse. It's actually a little bigger, but my yarn room here is smaller, and like I'm in my living room right now. The yarn is seeping out of my yarn room into every room in the house. So I know what you mean about moving into a smaller. It's like, where am I going to put all this?
But then it is a challenge. So I do have to say, I really enjoy the challenge of maximizing space.
Yeah.
So we moved from, that house, the house we were in, it was a great house, but we thought we were going to fill it up with kids. That didn't happen. Right. So we were like, this is way too much house for us. It was 3,400 square feet. For 2 people and their dogs, and a cat.
That's a lot.
And a lot of space that we just didn't fully use. And so, we had a whole bedroom in that house that we finally ended up putting a bed in there because actually, I think it came with the house. I think there was a bed already in there with the house, just like a mattress and a thing. We never had furniture in that room. We never bought dressers. We never, because nobody used it. We had a guest bedroom upstairs that was usable. So that gives you the idea. I thought about turning it into an office space at some point. That was kind of the dream of that'll be my yarn room, And so now we're in a house that's probably 1,400 square feet, which is still, plenty of space for 2 people. but it is a challenge of like, okay, I want to maximize this because we didn't get rid of a lot. We got rid of a lot of furniture, but like we still have everything else that we had. And that's kind of fun, you know, like when you have, anytime I have a little bit of extra money, I can say, what can I purchase that will be organizing, and, you know, that I can create some extra shelving or some extra, you know, hanging things that will hold stuff, you know. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I look at it like one of those puzzles, you know, those handheld puzzles that has, like, you move the little tiles around, and there's like 16 spaces and 15 tiles, and you've got to like move them all to the right places.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it's like. That's what it's like.
And it's a constant process. I mean, it's constantly changing and moving. And I did that in the house that we were in when we had all of the space that I really, looking back, took for granted. So much space to put things. But it's been fun, like, as in this room, I mean, I still can't believe, like, everything is in here except for, like, for the business. Everything is in this room except for a few finished projects that I have on a shelf in the guest room that it looks like blankets. It's totally not, but since everything I make is super chunky, it's, you know, but it looks like blankets in the guest room.
Right.
And some of my shipping boxes, when I have an overflow of shipping boxes, they go in the basement. But that's it. It all fit in here. So that was surprising. It's pretty, if you were claustrophobic, you know, you might not like it as much, but I think it's open enough. I don't feel overwhelmed. So I just like looking around.
You know what happens to me is I'll get my yarn room exactly where it needs to be. And then
and then you buy more yarn.
And then I buy
Well, so I wanted to ask you, do you have any like super favorite yarns that either you're using right now or something that you bought recently that you're like, this is amazing?
All of it. That's why I'm a yarn geek, because it's just like, this yarn right here, I really love. I haven't worked with it yet. And that's what this right here is kind of like my staging place for yarn that I really, really like, that I want to use next. And if it sits there, it can inspire me to do things.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to use this, and I just love the look and the feel. It's Plymouth Yarns Encore.
I like that.
Yeah, it is worsted weight. It is, where's the 75% acrylic, 25% wool.
Oh, that's a lot like the Thick and Woolies. Thick and Quick. It's a similar mix.
Yeah, but it's I know, I really like these colors. It's like galaxies or something.
Yeah.
So, and
it looks like you've got, is that Wander down there? Those colors look familiar. I didn't know if that was the Wander yarn underneath it.
Oh, down here?
No, same one. Yeah, so it was like the coral colors. What are those?
Oh, these are, I got these a little while back. It was a really good sale. They're Premier Wool Select.
Oh, nice.
And these are a 3-weight. I got these on sale. They were like $2 a piece, a light 3-weight. And I've got a mosaic that I'm trying to plan up for this one.
Okay.
273 yards.
That's nice. I like it.
And I really like these. I got all these from Michael's, and they're on the sale. They were $3 a piece.
Oh,
normally $11.99.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And they're a 3-weight. I'm making a blanket out of this, and it is so soft.
Yeah.
It is so soft, and it's pretty big. Like when you hold it up next to your head, it's a pretty good size, 557 yards.
Dang, that's nice.
Yeah, and so I got all this yarn, and I got it all in place, and then Hobby Lobby started its sale.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
I have to tell you, Hobby Lobby, I was actually kind of sad because, and again, it is a good thing because I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself more self-control to not buy yarn that I may not use.
right.
Um, but I kept seeing everyone's Hobby Lobby hauls. So like people were posting in my Facebook group, you know,
Oh,
and talking about like sharing all their photos. And there were a few photos where I saw some um, yarn that I was like, oh, if my Hobby Lobby has that, then I'll
then
get
it's
some.
on. It's
Um, so I went to my Hobby Lobby and there was nothing. Like the things that were on clearance weren't, again, I didn't have a lot of colorful options, and the
Mhm.
few items that were colorful enough for me to consider, there just wasn't enough stock. You know,
Yeah,
there would be like one or two balls of yarn.
yeah.
And so I didn't buy anything. I didn't buy anything from the Hobby Lobby
Oh,
sale. I've had better luck, like Michael's. I found this, which I'm really excited to try. It is only a 5, but I got 2 of them so I could hold them together to make something.
yes. I
But
love that. I've got some of that. Oh, you can't see it. But
and
yeah, I love that.
you get 385 yards. So even just having 2 of these, I could make something substantial, you know, holding
Mhm.
them together.
And those
But
are
I didn't
such
know that they have a chunkier version. They have just the Forever Fleece. I did not see the
right.
finer.
Uh-huh.
So, if I see more of this, I'll have to try the thicker
Oh
version
yeah.
of it
Yeah.
because it's really soft.
I think they have some of the thicker stuff at Hobby Lobby, of the
I
Forever
haven't seen
Fleece.
it, but they do carry, I think Hobby Lobby does tend to carry some of the Bernat, so I'll have to look for it next time I'm there. But the Hobby Lobby for me is farther from me than my Michael's.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'll have to check that. I did get to use, I'll have to show you the one other thing that I've made that I have not shared yet because I finished it. It was one of those totally unplanned. Like I just sat down with some yarn, started making something. I was like, this is cool. I need to start taking pictures because this is going to have to be a pattern.
Right.
And it was inspired by the hooked, um,
Oh, that's
it's
cute.
their Ribbon XL.
Yeah,
So,
that's so-
and it's their neons. So they have pink, green, yellow, orange, I think. And I have
mhm,
the pink and the orange.
mhm,
And I used a contrasting, it was the Hobie Jumbo Ribbon yarn, which was
mhm.
similar. This is more like a 6 weight being the XL, just like the Hobie Jumbo, which they're discontinuing. So for anyone out there who
Oh,
wants to try Hobie Jumbo, they have it on like half off right now,
okay,
all of them, if not
okay.
more. Um, but this is what inspired it. And we were watching The Last Samurai.
Mhm.
And it's so funny because as we're watching that, I'm like, I really want to do like some kind of kimono
Oh,
sleeve kind of
cute.
thing, or like,
Yeah.
you know. So let's see. Oh, I hung it up in the closet. Let's see. Here. Okay. So these are the 2 colors. So you can see them together.
Oh, I love
Really
those
pretty.
colors together.
And here's the yellow of the
Uh-huh.
jumbo, Hobie Jumbo. And this is the final piece. Oh, so it's
Oh,
got like a bat wing
yeah,
sleeve.
that is
And
so cute.
I just attached the string to
Yeah.
this final piece, but I
Uh-huh.
made sure that it was in line with where this kind of, and this
Uh-huh.
seam, it's so flattering. Like
Yeah,
I didn't even mean for that to happen, but the
right.
way that I did that, it's got a great waist.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, that's cute. And you could even make it longer too, but
Yes.
it's cute like that. It'd be cute longer.
So
Oh,
you finish this upper portion. So like pretend all of this bottom is gone. So you almost create this batwing crop and then you
uh-huh.
attach right here and work all the way around. So you can make this as long as you want while keeping this nice waist. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
have the waist because that's where the pattern ends.
Yeah,
And then you add all of your length and you can put the tie right where the waist stops.
right. And
And
it
it's just
cinches
super
it in
flattering.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and I feel like you'll be able to make it too. This is obviously a 6, but if you
Yeah.
used a little bit lighter weight, it would have even more kind of a laciness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this really, it's obviously it's a little stiffer, but it's not so stiff that
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable. Like it's still very comfortable, because it's got a little stretch to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm
And I
really
love
excited
those.
about that one. That's one that was,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
totally unplanned. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know when I'm going to release it. I don't know when I'm going to write it up, but it's here and I've got my notes. So,
Sometimes those are the best things,
yeah.
just you make it on the fly. Like
I just have to
that's
remember to take pictures because then I'm like, I don't want to have to make a second one just to do the
right. And
pattern.
see, that's what I end up doing. And that's why I'm so terrible at making tutorials and taking pictures
Mhm.
because I don't think of taking
I
them while
just
I'm
want to
doing it.
crochet.
I know. I was doing a live the other night and I didn't have anything planned for it. So I was like, I wonder what I'm going to make.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll make a bucket bag or
yeah,
a crossbody bag.
yeah,
And so I just made it while I was there.
yeah, yeah,
And then, so I didn't write down anything or anything, but I made more.
yeah. And
But
that's usually now, especially if it's smaller, that I'm like, okay, I've started trying to make my patterns, at least two of them, because then I can use different yarn. And that was like the two, dress pieces that I just made,
right.
totally different yarn. And it's kind of nice, like to see this is more of a cotton, a little bit, it's a different
Hmm.
feel, versus like a t-shirt yarn. And t-shirt yarn's hard to get. It's expensive.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find an option where if someone doesn't want to invest in that much t-shirt yarn, doesn't want to wear t-shirt yarn, that this is similar, a similar structure, but there's a lot more options and colors that are more local.
Right.
Um, but even like a ribbon yarn, I think would be fun for,
Yeah.
for like a
Oh, that would
jumper
be
or something.
cute.
Um, but I think that's fun.
If you want to go totally recycle, you could just make your own t-shirt yarn.
I know.
It would take a
And
while because
and
you have to.
that's usually the issue. And I don't have enough stuff that I'm like donating. Like I'd have to go
Right.
to Goodwill, buy t-shirts and
Oh,
bring them
wow.
home to make the yarn. Because I don't really, my husband
Yeah.
has a million t-shirts, but like they're not getting cut up.
Yeah. No way. Yeah, for sure.
So, but I remember trying that a while back. I had my grandmother sent me a bunch of old t-shirts that they were gonna, either throw out or donate. And I
Mhm.
made some t-shirt yarn, but it was barely enough to really make, like, I think I made a little neck gator cowl
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
thing. That was enough. That was all I had, from the couple of
Right.
t-shirts. But I would love to try it with like sheets or something, like get bed sheets and maybe make a rug or a bag or something. Could be kind of cool.
I have made several rugs from bed sheets, and
Yeah,
those make the best rugs. I've used
I
them
figured.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you just rip up the sheets, which is super
Hmm.
easy. The one
Hmm.
bad thing about ripping up the sheets, you just cut it at like inch intervals and then you rip,
Yeah. Yeah.
is the sheet dust,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was like, up in the air.
It's like pom pom dust when you're trying to trim pom poms.
I was blowing blue out of my nose, and I thought
No,
this is
I
so bad.
probably have a mask on or something. Or
Yeah, which now we have plenty of masks. This was before masks. But
oh,
I did notice, and I wanted to ask what you thought about
uh-huh.
the yarn prices going up. Like, have you
Mhm.
noticed in in Michael's the yarn that used to sell for $9.99
It's
now
like
sells for
11.99.
$11.99 or $12.99?
I don't ever remember seeing yarn for 11.99 unless it was very, very specialty.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I used to allow myself to get away with buying yarn that wasn't on sale. I couldn't
Hmm.
do that now. But I mean, the prices of everything have gone up. Like, it's
Yeah,
not just gas. We go for groceries, and I'm looking at the grocery bill like, wait a second, what did I buy? Because this
I
is,
know. It's crazy. I saw lunch meat for 15 bucks at the grocery, 15 and change. And this was like
yeah,
Oscar Mayer,
yeah,
16 ounces of ham or something like
yeah.
that. I was like,
Well, and I think that's like we have an Aldi that's close by, thankfully.
mhm.
Um, but I just get as much as I can at Aldi because
Yeah,
even the prices have gone up there, but it's still
I know.
cheaper than, Publix or Food
Yeah,
Giant. Um, so
yeah,
we're just having to, it goes from I used to go to the grocery store and just get what I needed. Now I am actually like looking at prices. What's BOGO at Publix? Like what's, on
right.
sale right now and trying to do that. And it's going to be the
Yeah,
same thing with yarn. Like, you're going to have to stop
exactly.
sales and check coupons and that's
Yeah,
why I want to go today because I know they've had a clearance going.
yeah.
So I'm going to try and see if I can get anything at a good deal. And this stuff, when I bought this, I bought a bunch of it. I'll show you the colors real quick. Uh, these were the 3 colors that I got. So
Ooh,
the
those are pretty.
pink, orange, yellow. And that's the colors in the dress. I have the little
Yeah.
yellow tie on it and then these two. But
And they also
these were
match, they
buy
match
one,
your
get
stuff.
one free. I know
Oh,
the pink and orange has just become
yeah.
my favorite colors. But they were buy one, get one free. And so I
Oh,
was like, I
that's
knew I
great.
wanted them. And so as soon they got me with that sale, I was like, I'm going to
Uh-huh.
get more than enough to make a couple of different things. Um, and then hooked yarn. So they sent me a couple of things to do patterns, and that was where the Angelica jacket with the zipper that I
Hmm.
released a while back.
Uh-huh.
That was funded or yarn support was provided by Hooked for the t-shirt yarn.
Hmm.
And not only that, they purchased the pattern from me so that they can sell it on their website and I can still sell it. So I maintain my rights, but they have the rights to sell it now forever as well.
Nice.
But they paid me. They wanted to pay me money, but they're in Portugal, I think.
Hmm.
And they were like, "You're going to need all of this documentation." And I was like, "Can you just pay me in yarn?"
That
So I had
works.
to pay my shipping, but they
Yeah.
did give me a credit for the amount that they were going to pay me. And that's actually shipped. So I'll be getting a ton
Oh,
of new t-shirt yarn, I'm getting all of the different neon colors of ribbon
mhm.
yarn.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
so it'll be fun. I mean, got lots of yarn. I just now need to make room.
Make
As usual.
that's I'm going to be
Well,
working on a making room
yeah,
video
yeah.
series, and that I got to plan it. It's strategic. Uh,
And I'm excited to see it.
yeah, I have been making a lot of Hobby Lobby videos just because the new Hobby Lobby yarn is coming in, and
Okay.
I've done a portion of it, but I did see the prices have gone up there too,
Yeah.
and that's what I was shocked about. They kind of put it in a little bit at a time, so I've got a couple more videos that I'm going to be making with the new Hobby Lobby yarn,
Yeah.
but it's only gone up $1 for
Okay.
each of the yarns that I've seen, which
That's not too bad.
it's
And they
not.
do have sales regularly, so that's
Yeah,
that's good.
the 30% off
Yeah.
every.
Let me know if they do any new chunky yarn. Let
Okay.
me know.
Yeah, they do have one that I saw yesterday. It's like a velvet,
Okay.
and it's like that cotton that you have that has all the little things tied together.
Yes.
The
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
velvet. Like, it's very,
Yeah.
and it was like a royal deep burgundy color.
Mhm.
So pretty. And they're all
Oh,
kind of like jewel tones like that.
I was going to tell you, I saw that you got some of the Hobie, I don't remember what it's called. It's the bulky
Glitter.
cotton. The
Yeah,
Glitter
the
Delight.
glitter
They're sending
delight.
me some. They're sending me some. I get to try it. I'm so excited.
Yay! Okay, do
So
you want me to?
that and their Donna. So their Donna yarn it's supposed to be a bulky, but I had someone in my Discord channel say that it was thinner than they thought. So I'm a little concerned because
Okay.
I told them I'm going to use this to do a crop top design because you said
Uh-huh.
it's a bulky, and if it's not, I may have to reach back out and be like, so this is not as thick as I thought it was. We might have to pivot. If you want to send me some more, I can make something different because I
Yeah.
only got enough to make a crop top, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little too small. But
Yeah.
it's cool yarn. It's also like a chain structure,
Oh,
cotton, you know, so I was like, this will be
uh-huh.
really cool, but I don't know. We're gonna have to see once it arrives.
Yeah. Why,
So
what color is it?
I got the green. It's like white and green. So it's like a bright neon-esque kind of green with the white, kind of like the glitter has the white
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
color. And then for the glitter delight, I got not the red orange type rainbow. It's
Right.
more of like the pink purple green-ish rainbow, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I
there's
know
the
what you're
two that
talking
are
about.
very rainbow-esque, and I got the kind of lighter, I say like unicorny colors versus
Yeah,
like the true rainbow.
the rainbow.
Um, so it'll be interesting. We'll see. Well, we are way
Are
over
we?
time,
Oh, are
but
we?
but I would love to have you back on. So I'm gonna reach back out and
Okay.
maybe in a month or so we can catch
Awesome.
back up because by then there will be more yarn out and we can chat about that if you want to. But I feel like we can easily fill an hour.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
we're at 12 past. But
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm so glad that you came on. And I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope everyone who joined today has a fantastic day and weekend. Thank you for coming on. If you joined in late, this will be up on my Instagram. If you want to rewatch it on Instagram, but I will also upload it to YouTube. You can find me at youtube.com/pinksheepdesign. And I have a whole playlist dedicated to these. So if you want to see this one or past ones in YouTube, it's easier for you to rewatch them. You'll find it there in the next hour or two. I'll have it uploaded. And you can also find Ginger. If you'll let everyone know, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Yarn Geek on YouTube, Yarn Geek on Instagram, and Yarn Geek on Facebook. But
Woohoo!
also
Makes it easy.
my Facebook group is really fun. It's Yarn Geeks. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
because everybody in the group is a yarn geek, right?
Yes. That's perfect.
Yeah. So those are the places.
Awesome. Well, go show Ginger some love. Thank you guys again for coming on. We had a lot of people today, so thanks for joining. And I will see you guys live on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Time, and then I will be back next Friday. I think I'm going live with Kelly from Knit Brooks. So mark your calendars, Tuesday and Friday, and we'll see you guys then. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Ginger.
Bye.